fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kiru's show here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya. He has been released from the negative zone since shit got real. Onslaught. The consciousness of both Charles Xavier and Magneto mixed together. He's murdered 2 million people and has kidnapped Franklin Richards, a reality-bending mutant. Now, with that being said, this is all very bad. And the Earth, they had their heroes bring Midoriya back in. He is one of the heaviest hitters that are still alive on Earth, besides the Sentry, and, well, at least 2 others that I can name off the top of my head. Now, we do have where Midoriya and the Sentry, they did actually stage a encounter where Midoriya supposedly would have broke through the negative zone and get back on Earth. Now, the fear and chaos this would bring to the people of the Earth, it would be what they would want, since they need this chaos for onslaughts. If people are starting to evacuate cities and start moving away from certain places, that's good. And with Midoriya here, he can pose as a villain, since he did have his TV debut, where Midoriya, he did talk about how he was going to finish what he started. And he did then go into hiding. Him and Robert both heading to the place where Midoriya murdered Thor. And talking about if Robert is a worthy man. Now, with that being said, we do pick up to some time later, where Midoriya and Robert, they do both walk into the Avengers headquarters, or Avengers Tower, and are currently talking about what is going on. Now, they've already gone to the Baxter building, and there was no signs of forced entry. And every time they did talk to somebody, they cannot even remember what happened. All they know is that a kid came through here, and they don't even remember seeing a bald man. Now, there is actually something at Avengers Tower, where Midoriya, he is trying to express his plan to Captain America. And he does talk about it, as he does stand there at a holographic table. Now, Captain America is very, very skeptical about Midoriya's plan. He is a trained soldier from World War II. He's aware that not all plans go accordingly. And if the need does arise, you should be willing to make a sacrifice. Be it your own life or, well, another option you do not want to consider. Now, Cap has expressed his feelings for Midoriya's plan. However, Midoriya, he does talk about how he used this idea once to take down a man in the negative zone. And the only flaw with it was how dedicated he was to trying to do it. The man clearly outpowered him at one point, and he could see him coming from a mile away. So he did the next best thing. He got close to the man from the inside. And whenever he was close enough, and he had the chance, he immediately took this man down, in a moment of weakness. Now, Cap is sort of impressed. However, he also does want to understand why Midoriya. He took this man down. Now, Midoriya, he doesn't get into that, as he actually would go to reach underneath the table and pull something out from underneath, telling Captain America that he needs this. Now, Midoriya would just set it down on the table before going to walk away, as you do actually have Captain America, who his eyes do go wide, as his shield is what Midoriya just set down. Now, Cap does look at his shield, going to pick it up and put on the straps. This is real. This is the real thing. This is not a fake. And he would watch as Midoriya does walk out of the room. Before, he does go to turn his head to where Robert Reynolds is. Reynolds just staring at Captain America before he's giving him a smirk. And Cap, he does look back down at the shield, as he knows something happened with their conversation. Midoriya must have pushed Reynolds. That's good. They need that. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, he does go to leave, as he is stopped at the door by Rogue and Laura. Now, these two, they want to know who this guy is. However, Midoriya, he does just bring his hand up and shapeshift his face back, telling both of them that it's him. Now, the moment they realize this is Midoriya, they do apologize. Midoriya expressing that he knows, and to not be too careful. Now, they both do talk to Midoriya about what's happening and with the way things are. Now, Midoriya, he does understand all of it. And well, he does bid these two a farewell for right now. His plan that he already gave to Captain America, it does have them involved, but not too early on, telling them to wait on standby, and that if he does need their help early, he'll give them a call. Now, these two would listen, as Midoriya does get outside of Avengers Tower and decide if he should go to this place or this place first. Most likely Onslaught would be here, or he'd be here. Now, Midoriya, he does actually go to take flight, as you do actually have somebody who does call his name. Now, Midoriya, he would turn around, and you do actually have Irma Stedford. Now, Midoriya, he does see her, and ask her exactly what is she doing. Oh, the X-Men, we're all getting together. Listen, we're trying to find Charles, go to places that we recognize, and see what's going on then. Along with that, we're looking for anything we have related to the Brotherhood of Mutants. We most likely believe that he might be involved with them. That's a good hunch, Midoriya would say, as he does land. Now, Irma would ask Midoriya exactly what he does plan to do once they have Charles and they find Franklin. I don't know. Hopefully, we're able to bring him in. Then we can undo whatever happened to this man. Me and him do have bad blood between each other. He always wants to stick to the peaceful route. I always want to stick to I should do this my own way. I don't need to follow your guidebook. Ironically, he's now the one who tore up the book. Yeah, I know what you mean. She would go on stating as she doesn't stand there awkwardly. And Midoriya, he does ask her if she does have another question. Now, Arma, she's not really too sure what to say. However, she does just do one thing. She does walk right up to Midoriya and explain to him that with a lot of things going on, it's always the end of the world anytime anyone does meet or sees each other. Honestly, it's like a bad family drama. Please, I'm aware. So, this being where Irma does actually grab Midoriya, and she does hold him by both sides of his face, before she does just give him a kiss. Her expressing to him that he needs to come back alive, and that if he does die, she'll never forgive him. Now, with that being said, you do actually have Yui Midoriya, who she was passing by. She and a few other of the mutants were scouting out an area and they did break off from their group. And they were trying to make sure that nobody was causing problems down here. As Yui, she did turn the corner and see Irma kiss Midoriya. As she does just watch for a second confused, wondering about all these girls around her older brother. Now, you do actually then have one of Midoriya, he would actually just pull away. And he does give her a small smile, talking about how whenever he gets everything sorted out, then mutants, they can find out more, understand what they can really do. And they probably might even go with the plan he had originally whenever he did want to come back to Earth. Now, Irma does give Midoriya a smile, before telling him to stay safe. Now, Midoriya would just turn around and go to fly off, as Irma does then actually turn her head in the direction of Yui, and tell her mentally that she's aware that she's been there, and that is a lot more to explain. Now, Yui does just go to run off, as Irma, yeah, she can try to explain her way out of this one, but that just makes it sound worse. So she does leave it there. Now, with that, we do actually have Midoriya, who he does go rocketing away to a place on the other side of the country. And he does eventually arrive in the city where that UN conference was held. Midoriya and, well, what was it, Sunspot. Both of them met for the first time and fought. Back then, they were equals. However, Midoriya, he murdered him that one day. And he does feel guilty. Now, Charles Xavier is nowhere to be found around this area. And Midoriya, he does start to scour the globe. Places where they've had missions before and have gone. Midoriya, he even did check his home address, where his mother should have been. Now, along with that, Midoriya, he did actually go to the ruins of Genosha. And well, nothing there. And Midoriya, he did realize that he would have to ask around a bit more. He knows about a place he can go to that specifically has high mutant activity and does have a bit of a change in management. They used to be specifically a bit more anti-mutant. However, after a change in management, things did change. The Hellfire Club. Midoriya heads there, as he does go to walk in. A whole lot of people are standing in line, and you do actually have the doorman. Him and his friend. Both these two do step in the way, The guy bringing up his arm, and his friend bringing up his other arm. Both of these two informing Midoriya that they require proof of mutation to get in. Along with that, he has to wait in line just like everybody else. Now, Midoriya would turn to see this guy, as it's a man with a cut on his face. The cut runs from his nose towards over his eye, and he's got short black hair. Midoriya is telling the guy that he's a VIP, and that he can go wherever he wants. Please. The only VIPs I have on this list are the owner. Now get to the back of the line. Or you can prove to me that you're a mutant. And I might consider not kicking the shit out of you. Now, Midoriya does look at him. Before he does, turn to look at the other man, asking what his mutant power is. To which he would just explain. His mutant power is being able to turn into solid steel. Midoriya does just say, great, before turning and bringing his hand up, directly onto his face. Midoriya turning the man into a puddle of water. Before the guy does just drop to the ground and his clothes do fall as well. Midoriya then turning back as his face did change to Izuku Midoriya. And the guy he does just stare at him stunned. Now, I believe I was heading somewhere. Is that proof enough? Yeah. Can you change him? Midoriya just waving his hand. As the guy, he does reform and take a deep breath. Him going to check to see if everything is there. As Midoriya, he does walk straight through the door, without even opening it. Now, the guy just does say, holy shit. As other mutants were standing in there in line, they just saw somebody they never thought they would see in person. Now, you have Izuku Midoriya, who he did start to ask questions around. And the Hellfire Club, they did have a few things going on. Along with them actually doing a bit more favors for some people. Now, the moment Midoriya did walk in, he did ask to talk to somebody who was in charge. As Midoriya, he was told by someone that they're very busy, and that he does have to come back later. Now, Midoriya, he would inform them that he can't, and that he's actually looking for somebody by the name of Onslaught. Now, the person does actually turn to look at Midoriya. As Midoriya, he does sit down at the bar stool and look up at this pretty woman. Now, she's a woman with a, let's say, lighter complexion. And she does actually have brown hair. And, well, she does have a piercing on her nose. Midoriya expressing that he's here to meet Onslaught. He wants to know where he is. And he thinks that they might have some information here. Please, big guy like that, he wouldn't come to a place like this. Besides, haven't you heard the rumor? Heard the guy's supposed to be Charles Xavier. Well, I can tell you that that's no rumor. I know because I put my hand on his face and verified it myself. Now, the bartender does look at Midoriya. As Midoriya, he would just bring up his hand. And she does watch it shift to the insect-like form Midoriya can take. Midoriya is saying that does she know what this is, before shifting his hand back. Her just looking at Midoriya, and saying that she has a very good idea. Now, she does go to press a button underneath the bar, as it basically would alert somebody that an unwanted guest is here. Now, you do actually have Onslaught who is downstairs. and he was talking with Franklin, as he has already tried to begin the process of absorbing this young man. If he can absorb him, then he can do what he wants and rewrite the way the universe does work. Now, a light does begin to beep on the wall, and you do actually have Charles Xavier, who he was standing there with the helmet on and talking to the young boy. Before he does go to stand up and inform Franklin that he does have to go right now, and that his parents, quote unquote, are calling him. Now, this is where he does go to walk away and head up the stairs. As the moment he does go straight up through the door and see Midoriya, he does go to try to clear his mind or subdue him, bringing up his hand. However, Midoriya, yeah, that does not work. He does just sit there for a minute, and he does begin to start sipping his drink. Hi, Charles. Long time no see. Longer for me, at least. I see. He does say, bring down his hand. Now, Midoriya, he would tell him that he's got a metal-plated beanie, and it won't work. Even if he does try to pull it off. Now, he does just ask Midoriya, what is he doing here? He thought that he was in the negative zone. Oh, you missed it? I broke free. That's not possible. Not for you, at least. Besides, I've been trying to find you. Look at the world. It's so ignorant. It's so bad. To think. I had to kill 3 planets to get here in this seat. My conviction's stronger than yours. What are you willing to do? Now, but he did just go back to sipping his drink. Charles walking around the bar and then sitting right in front of Midoriya, saying that he is someone who will save mutants. Please. The way you used to be, you couldn't even save a fly on the wall. Even if it had the genome. Really. I'll have you know my plan is flawless. Now, the bartender does actually go to slam her fist down into the bar to try and snap Charles out of it. Charles turning to look his head that way before going to look back at Midoriya, who Midoriya does just hold that stare. The stare he had during the World War Hulk story. The stare of a man who's had so much taken from him. And he wants it back. Now, Charles does smirk and express to Midoriya that they could be on the same side. However, things are going to be heating up a lot more soon. Now, Midoriya does ask what Charles does mean by this. And Charles, he would go to bring his hand up, asking Midoriya if he would like to make a better world for their kind. Now, Midoriya does just look down at his hand, bring his own up and shaking it, saying abso-fucking-lutely. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.